up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up.
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up. But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
Hey, what up, dope people? It's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off your day with the crew. Ooh, felt like I had to cough a little bit there. There we go. All right. Thank you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew. Shout out to to that dude Justin, our brother Matthew Broders, your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, and the vet of the squad, the vet of the network over there, Flannel Sam. What up, though, bro?
You know, it feels really good to be back in the studio. I love remotes, but I swear to God, every single time I'm on one, Stick will find a way to like muck things up, like messing with my camera yesterday or playing the music too loud on purpose. I love Stick, but that's just what he does all the time.
Oh, so what? Only knees, only lips yesterday, huh?
Yeah, and I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't have a monitor. I just kept talking, and I was actually doing like serious like sports talk, and then it was
I had to pull up the stream. That's what I was like, bro. You see what they're doing to you right now?
It's all good.
You see?
But in the studio, I'm usually pretty safe.
Pretty safe. We'll see.
Very
JB
safe.
over there got a little. Hey man, what's that mischievous grin you got on your face over there, Mr. MVP? He about to.
Page up in the works, so you know we got only knees and now only lips.
You know what?
$29.99 though.
Let's get the rest of the cast and the crew introduced, man. You guys just saw Uber Sports MVP over there in the titty booth. That is JB Smooth. Hey, any other words for the chat family, brother?
No, just happy to be here.
Just
it's
smooth.
Tuesday.
Just smooth.
We got to have a conversation about these Pistons, though, man, because I'm still losing a lot of money betting on these Pistons constantly.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Oh, we're gonna get there, and a lot more too. Hey, shout out to intern Chase. What up, though?
Hey, what up, though? How's it going, everybody? How you guys doing today?
Hey, you know what? It's a victory week for the Lions and for Go Blue.
Oh yeah.
But man, 0-4 Pistons. But you know what? Yeah, that's how it's going, brother.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
how
hey,
it's
they're playing better as a team. We haven't got the results we wanted, but like, there's definitely some like nice signs. Like, we had 3 different players in double digits for rebounds last night. Stu had 7 offensive rebounds. Fontecchio with 3 offensive rebounds off the bench. So, I mean, they're playing hard. Like, those are hustle stats. So I mean, just gotta stay optimistic. You know, we've been playing playoff teams. We're hoping to maybe be a fringe play-in team. You know, so. We got to hang in there. Don't lose the faith.
Shout out to Detroit's #1 draft pick in the sound booth, KG. What up, Black Hollywood?
Hey, chilling, man, chilling. I was mad about that Pistons game last night. I'm not going to hold you.
Don't blame you.
I tuned in like middle of the third.
Keep the emotion. Keep the fire, bro.
Yeah, no, I tuned in middle of the third, and I'm like, okay, they competing. They right here with the Miami Heat. And then just turnovers, bad shot selection early in the shot clock, man. They got to find a way to close games, man. And Tobias Harris, he has to be better. But overall, I mean, I do still think that this team will be okay. But they clearly have some things to clean up. At least they're competing, but you need to see them close some of these games.
Yep. And Flannel. Hey, I got my take. But talk to me about these Detroit Pistons. They have started the season 0-4. Obviously, the first 10, it's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
But they keep losing the same way that we kind of saw them losing a lot of the games last year and the year before, too. And they just can't seem to put together the what happens when it's winning time.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Over the totality of the season, and I understand that Cade Cunningham he struggled in last night's fourth quarter. Let's not get it twisted. I can't necessarily defend that. But over the totality of the season, if you want to look at some good news, I would say that Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey are the least of the Pistons' problems. Mm-hmm. What I've been disappointed in have been the veterans. Tobias Harris, with all due respect, has been awful in these first 4 games. And you can look at a couple of games like him missing I think like 3 threes, open threes in the fourth quarter in the opening night game, and then him shooting 2 of 11 and not making a three against Boston. It's like if he steps up and even just plays 90% of his normal self, they might have had a chance to win those games, and he just didn't do it. And you look at Malik Beasley last night, who I'll give Malik Beasley credit. In the first 3 games, he was really providing the only bench scoring for the Pistons. 1 of 12, 0 of 7 from 3 last night. That just can't happen. If he just makes a couple more of those, you look at the Pistons having a better chance to win. And even in that same Boston game, Tim Hardaway Jr. gave you 2 of 7. So in that Boston game, what was it? Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr. gave you a combined 4 of 18 in a game where Jaden Ivey maybe played one of the best games I've ever seen him play as a Piston. To me, I didn't expect that from the veterans who have played in a lot of big games in their careers, and you didn't expect them to necessarily get off to slow starts, but they have.
They have, and it's the thing that we knew was going to play one of the biggest roles in the season this year. We just thought it was going to be won a lot more positively, a lot more soon. I thought that the vets would be the more stabilizing forces in the beginning of the season instead of what it has been to this point. All of us basically penciled Tobias Harris in for 17 and 7 a game in 3. Well, you know what I mean? That's what everybody believed was going to happen. When you don't have that, then it's putting so much more pressure on players like Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham to be even more than they have to be. And I saw people going crazy last night because, listen, Paolo Banchero, he is an absolute bucket. He is an absolute bucket. And I see people say, see, this is what Cade is supposed to be doing for us. And I ask you guys this. Do we have any player on this roster who's close to Franz Wagner as a number 2?
No, and I'll give you a great example. Cade Cunningham had a perfect first half, and they were down by double digits at halftime.
Exactly.
What about Jalen Suggs on the Magic too?
That's what I'm talking about. And so it's like, yes, we don't want to use excuses. We want to be able to see this team close these games the right way, and I have a theory on that. But as it relates to putting some target on Cade Cunningham in particular, let's get that all the way out of here. We already talked about kind of what the Pistons are facing right now. Until the vets can be more reliable in the fourth quarter, JB Bickerstaff is literally going to be staring this in the face. Do I get Cade Cunningham adequate rest when he's going off? And when he's going off, it's the only reason why that I've seen now that this team has been able to stay in games. So now all of a sudden you run the risk of saying, okay, we're going to break this guy, take him out the game in the third quarters, which he's been absolutely crushing. Just have him ready for crunch time. When do you have an opportunity to be in the game during that time? Strategy-wise, you're going to have to do something different because hey, and we are back. What up, though, people? It's Wake Up Woodward. Pistons. Hey, what a game, man. We trying to talk Pistons. The stream went down and everything. But I don't even know where we went down. But just to kind of pick back up, I do believe this. Right in lockstep with all of you guys, we've been saying this since before the season started that the vets were going to play a huge role. And so they still are going to be within the crosshairs of responsibility and accountability right now. But how long does JB Bickerstaff wait to see if they're just in a slump or if, some of these players are a little bit older? We all One more again. We're going to try this just one more again, man.
Yes.
Hey, it's your boy Brandon Deere, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, the vet of the squad and network over there, Flannel Sam, and our Red Wings correspondent, as well as all sports knower. Hey, it's Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you guys for sticking through this far. That dude, Justin, Matt Broder, we love you, bros. Intern Chase in the building. Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. Detroit's #1 draft pick, KG, is in the sound booth, and JB Smooth over there in the TD. And we were talking Pistons and how I think that what they're faced with right now is beyond just what the vets need to do is how long do you wait for them to figure this out and stay the course? Because that is something that JB Bickerstaff talked about, and I get to ask them that question: is how do you set and manage your expectations properly, whether you're winning or losing? And at this juncture, obviously they were losing. And I asked him for a team that wants to win. And I think we did play that audio on here before, and he said it's sticking to the process. So you paid Tobias to be that guy that can take a little bit of the usage and a little bit of the burden off of Cade Cunningham. And so it's like, okay, do you change something with the strategy and the rotations that better suits your team at the end of the games? Or do you wait until the veterans figure this thing out and accept the fact that you're playing through this gauntlet of a schedule?
That's part of it. Obviously, if you would have told me before the season that the Pistons would start 0-4, I would have been a little bit disappointed, but I wouldn't have been like, the sky is falling, because it is 4 playoff teams, including the defending NBA champion. However, it just, as I said before, it's a little troubling how slow of a start the veterans are getting off to. And when I look at this Pistons team as well, given the fact that you have Jaden Ivey and you have Cade Cunningham in the starting lineup, they don't really have a backup point guard. And I think that is really, really affecting the play of Simone Fontecchio, because he has not been good, but he does not fit into those bench
what
rotations.
What have I been saying
you
from the
have.
beginning of the season?
I actually I got that from you.
Bro,
like you started that.
He
yeah.
has to play with Cade.
Yeah.
He was excited to play with Cade. He was like, bro, like, no one's ever asked me, where do I like to receive my pass in the pocket? Like, and that's wild to think about at the NBA level, because we're all taught that when you go through these basketball camps and these drills, you're always taught to get it into the pocket, get it where the shooter wants it. You're taught how to do the angles and all that. You're taught at least some of the camps that I came up in, and shout out to Lindsey Hunter, who was running camps out in Canton and Basketball Planet, and he was one of the best assist guys for the Pistons in playoff history. He would tell you, ask people where they like the pass. He said, don't just assume somebody wants an alley-oop. Don't just assume somebody wants a chest pass. Don't just assume somebody wants a bounce pass. And that was something that Cade Cunningham asked Fontecchio. I don't think that type of chemistry is being necessarily developed right now amongst the bench unit, or when they take Cade Cunningham out, you got to put someone like Fontecchio in, but I also don't think that he has that type of chemistry with those guys either. So if you want to get the best out of Fontecchio, who you also just gave a little bit of money to, you got to play him more with Cade, in my opinion.
I think you got to start
Fontecchio.
Him is what
I'm
you have
saying.
to start
Yeah.
Fontecchio. If it were
Talk
me,
about it, man.
I would probably put Tim Hardaway Jr. on the bench, even though for the most part I think he's actually been fine. It's just Simone Fontecchio, we know that he can't really create, and that's okay, and that is perfectly okay for the role.
You're hitting right at the point. Preach it.
Fontecchio cannot create his own shot, and that's okay, by the way, but I wonder where we could find a young point guard who is very good at creating opportunities for others. Oh, that's right. We have one named Cade Cunningham, and Simone Fontecchio absolutely thrived in his limited action with the Pistons last year. I mean, did you see just with him last year how much better the offense looks? Simone Fontecchio was putting up some of the best numbers of his career, and so was Cade Cunningham. He had that perfect floor spacing wing who could knock down threes. And right now, Simone Fontecchio is just being completely misused. I'm not saying that they can't get it together at some point. I know it's only 4 games against 4 really good teams, but I would like to see some changes to be made, especially since the schedule is about to lighten up. And since you're not getting any of these games that you're not supposed to get, you better start winning when the schedule lightens up. You got to.
Yeah, you have to. And just, I'm glad we get to have these types of conversations and discussions about the Detroit Pistons on just a basketball level.
Yeah.
Because there are some things that I do believe they are doing really, really good. I just believe that there are a few things that can change, and they have to change them because they're undermining the progress that they are making. Nobody wants to hear how close they are anymore, and that's the reality. Even though we know that they are making and they have made necessary strides. Yeah. They look like a more energetic, more hustle-minded team. They look like a team that's more engaged in the game. They look like a team that is in the right spots for most of the game. But there is something different about winning time. It just is. And whether it's a mix of what the strategy is going to be and what these players are going to do. Not just in how they execute, but there has to be also this mentality or this mindset of, I'm going to be the one to go and get it. And by that, I don't mean just Tobias and the vets. There is one player in particular who I'm hoping continues to develop this mindset and goes out there and gets it. And it's not Cade, because he already is going to have that mindset. It's Jaden Ivey. I want Jaden Ivey with the speed. with the skill set that he has, the handles that he's putting on display this year, to when that fourth quarter hits, I know that Cade is going to get his, but I'm hoping that by all means, Jaden Ivey is looking at that as an opportunity to go out there and leave an impression on the game. Because no matter how much better he's playing right now, if they're falling apart in the fourth quarter and he's not making a mark during that time, we can talk about how good the backcourt looks. You know what I mean? But they're not getting the dubs. I don't want to see these guys putting in a good game, a good 85%. And then because of that last 15%, all of a sudden they're walking off the court with their heads down. So it's like I'm hoping that Jaden Ivey finds a way to get more assertive, especially down the stretch.
And that's the crux of it all, because you can say, and I can say that in a lot of ways, this backcourt has actually worked. I think Jaden Ivey has played. I think Jaden Ivey's played really well to start the season, and so has Cade. And in certain stretches, Cade has been absolutely dominant, like a dominant NBA basketball player, to where you're like, that man was 66 before the season. That is an absolute joke. And, however, in the fourth quarters, you've seen struggles from both of those guys, both Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. But at the same time, and this is where I think guys like myself and guys like Stick can kind of shake hands and maybe agree on something, they're not getting enough help. As I said before,
they're not.
It's not about Cade not getting enough help as much as it is Cade and Jaden Ivey aren't getting enough help. You're getting very little scoring production off of your bench besides Malik Beasley, and of course we saw what he did in last game. And you're getting a really, really bad start from Tobias Harris and even Tim Hardaway Jr. I said in the Boston Celtics game, if he just plays a little bit better, maybe the score is different. And honestly, I'm not getting enough from Jalen Duren right now.
Yeah.
And I know that seems like a sore subject to some, but
well,
I don't see a ton of improvement. I'm not seeing any real defensive intensity improvement. And offensively, he's only giving you 11 and 10, which isn't terrible. But Jalen Duren, we were expecting this season, at least on the offensive side of the ball, to maybe give you 16 and 13.
Yeah.
That could still come, but they're 0-4, and I think at least a couple of those games were very winnable.
I'm glad you mentioned Jalen Duren because he's somebody who I have very, very high hopes for of being able to reach his potential. But I believe that they have to be deliberate about the type of player they want him to be as it relates to him going forward. Is he going to be one of those guys that you can throw the ball down to in a post? Do you want him to be able to have a little bit of that McDice a jumper to his game as well? But there needs to be some type of intentionality, in my opinion, to his offense, even if that's just we're going to use him more times than we use Andre Drummond and pick and roll lobs. It seemed like Andre Drummond, you could bank on at least 8 points a game from just lobs from Brandon Jennings and Co. and Reggie Jackson. And I don't understand with his level of athleticism, skill, his ability to, honestly, he's setting better screens this year, why they're not continuing to hammer that and hammer that and hammer that and get pressure on the other team. But this is why, I want Jalen Duren here. But this was one of the reasons why I wanted them to be able to take a look at a guy, remember, in the offseason and going back to last season even. I wrote the article, too, that I thought Nick Claxton or that type of player was somebody that they needed to be able to look at, and that was somebody for Jalen Duren to be able to look at in terms of the mold of the type of defender he is, to be able to have that type of effect as a singular defender, and how much more that can elevate this team's defense as a whole. And so, I'm hoping, and I do believe that Jalen Duren is going to take those steps forward. You see the flashes, but you want to see it more consistently.
The question I have about Duren is, and I know he's very, very young. He's even younger than you think. Is he even 21 yet?
I believe he is.
Well, the point is if he is, he just turned 21 not that long ago. He is in his third year. What is his offensive upside?
He is 20 years old until November 18th.
So he's not even 21 yet. So I have to ask, what is his offensive upside? And the reason I ask this, and I know Miles Turner is obviously much more advanced, and maybe he always had more in his bag to begin his career, but you saw him against the Pistons making jumpers, making threes, and you see Jalen Duren, he's not even trying them. They're not even trying to use him in the pick and pop at all. It's as if it doesn't exist. It's not a threat whatsoever. Does Jalen Duren have that in him?
I do believe he has it in him. When we're at the practices and the shoot-arounds, I see that he has a good shooting form. He does well in the catch and shoot threes, the catching pick and pop type area around the elbows and the free throw lines and the elbow extended in that McDice area, 16 from the short corner. He does well in those types of drills. And that's why I'm saying I want more intentionality to his offensive game. And maybe they're trying to ease that along, like how we saw with, and I know football's different, but how they did it with Jahmyr Gibbs. How they did it, honestly, I'm looking at him more as how I'm looking at Jamison Williams. And that when they did draft him, they say he was more of this project, and they said, he's a big man, he's a power forward, but we see like Sean Kemp. And from there, I was just like, so, okay, if that's what we're going to get, cool. But we never really saw the intentional development towards that. And so now, yes, just to answer the question plain, I do believe he's the type of player that can handle the pick and the pops. And I'm hoping that that's something they start to look a little bit more into, because I want him more involved heavily in all the pick and roll action that he can be involved in.
Sure, and that gives me hope. And for the record, to the Wake Up Woodward chat, I hope we're not coming off as doomsday or anything like that, because there have been a lot of positive things. And as I said before, they're playing a really tough schedule right now, 4 playoff teams, including the defending champion. It's just that I think we would both agree that at the very least, a couple of those games were extremely winnable, and they kind of let them slip away.
I know we got already stuff all over. Let's take a short break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about some of those positives.
All right, cool.
We'll do that. I know that's what Chase wants anyway. And I get it, and it's. I think it's appropriate. My views, like the way that I look at the team, it's changed so drastically over the last 4 years, especially since it's been in a more professional capacity. Like on the beat, you're trying to make sure that you are bringing a certain type of unbiasedness and a certain type of view and a certain type of fairness as well.
Critical too. I just don't like the whole like Debbie Downer, all negativity. You gotta like try to find something to like build off of. Give yourself something to like work forward to. Every day is gonna be about getting a little bit better than yesterday. I know D-Mac talks about that. So just finding that slow progress. We're not gonna flip the switch and change everything overnight, but June, July, October, like all these months in the head, like they're gonna come either way. So what can you do to make yourself better?
Positives then. So you believe everything's gonna work out, huh?
I'm liking what we're seeing under JB Bickerstaff. Obviously, we want to win these games, but I'm not gonna sit here and be all doom and gloom about this team. I think the team is playing a lot better.
Well, hey, let's get into it.
Absolutely. But first, I got to tell you about Planet Fitness.
Hey, work it out.
Hey, it's fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, fairly knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Hey,
I love our break.
I love our breaks too. And if you need excellence on your side, just like our breaks and just like the WUW Crew, KDK Law is also excellent, because if you got divorce, family issues, or criminal law issues, call Kevin and Catherine, and they will do their best to give you an advantageous outcome. I know divorce, child custody, it's not something anybody necessarily wants to go through, but you will be thankful if you go to KDK Law with Kevin and Catherine when you make them their call. So scan the QR code above my head, get you some information, and choose excellence. Hey, and of course, we got to talk about the Woodward and Main and the pre-game show. The best Lions coverage in all of the land, honestly. because it's the best Lions coverage in Michigan, and which certainly makes it the best Lions coverage in the land. Sundays, get your day started with Woodward in Maine, which features an absolute legend, Terry Foster, and our brother, Matt Broder, rising star in this business. And then you gotta, of course, go to the pregame show featuring these two men who have very unflattering photos on this. But you know what? The Lions have made a lot of people have O faces this year. Can we all agree on that? Oh! Absolutely. I certainly did when they were putting up 52 points against the Tennessee Titans. Absolutely. You gotta love to see it. And that pregame show is brought to you by, both of them are brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Tully Your Local Long Drink, Sabbath Coffee, Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, and Les Stanford Chevrolet.
12 million. I can't even do it.
Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward, man. Hey, you know what? It's been a Tuesday. It's been a Tuesday show. We'll just say that. We appreciate you, chat family, for being here. Go ahead and smash that like button. Run up the likes. Let's get the stream back out into the algorithm, and let's have a day. We're going to talk some more Lions, but we got one more segment on Pistons where we want to kind of talk about some of the positives, because intern Chase is right. There are a lot of positive takeaways, and I think it's also what has made people really kind of emotionally attach themselves at the beginning of the season, and why they feel as strongly as they do with their opinions, no matter what it is, whether I agree with it or not. It's good to see that people do care about this team, and I do believe that a large part of that is not just because it's a new coach and it's a new front office, because we've been there, we've done that. It's about the fact that we actually see a pulse with this one, and that when we get that closely, we know how badly that itch, we want to be able to get to it and scratch it. And that's the thing, because we know this. We can talk about it while they're down, and people will blah, 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 but people love the Detroit Pistons.
Yes.
Period. You guys are in that building. You guys are seeing these games. You see how people are responding. The fans that we're interacting with. The people who continue to go and become season ticket holders, man. Oh. And so when you see the renewed hustle, it's not just the coach. It's the fact that we see this hustle. It's the fact that we hear now there is a process to this. It's the fact that on offense, they're doing better things and are finding a way to make this backcourt work. Then, yeah, there's some positive takeaways here, in that we have seen flashes of what these vets can be. And to this point, I'm glad that they have played. Though I want Tobias to raise his level of play, if this was last year's team or the year before, if we had 3 vets to the quality of this, it would be very, very tough, or very, very far and few in between, that we would see all 3 of them in the same game. Yeah. Period.
Oh, yeah. No, and I kind of alluded to it at the beginning when I was talking about positives. I mentioned Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. I think you can safely say that they are the least of the Pistons' problems, and that they can work together at times. And I got to go to Cade Cunningham as well, because obviously we know in a couple of fourth quarters he struggled. I get that. I'm not upset with you if you want more. However, you look how he played in that Cleveland game. You look how he played in the third quarter against Indiana, and you look how he played in the first half of last night's game. That he, in those spurts, which a lot of them aren't even short, for Cleveland it's a full game, he didn't just look like an all-star. He looked like an all-NBA type player, just a dominant young point guard. Obviously, you'd like to see him put it together a little bit more, but I have no problems with how Cade Cunningham has played. I think he's taken that leap. And then, 2, if you want another positive, I look at that Boston Celtics game. They were in that game. I think as I've seen, they had a lead in the fourth quarter. As I've seen how the season has progressed, I think Boston is the best team in the NBA by a wide margin. Yeah. I mean, they were a wagon last year, and they're the favorites to repeat. And you just look at the job defensively that the Pistons did on Jaylen Brown. And I know Jaylen Brown was a little bit off, but the Pistons didn't make it easy on him. And if you want to look at moral victories, I would say if there's any one of those to start the season, it would have been the Boston game. It doesn't look like the same team. They fight harder. I think their defense has been better. It's just, at this point, I think it's just up to the in-game stuff and the veterans stepping up a little bit more, because there's a lot that I can point to and be like, this looks different. I think we all agree in the room.
Yeah.
What up, KG?
I don't think we all trying to be doom and gloom here, but we just got to be real about the situation. Slow starts have absolutely killed this team over the past few years. I mean, think about last year. They couldn't even, after 2 games, they were out of it. And that's crazy to say in an 82 game season. Like this team, and not, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. We all know this first 6 to 7 game stretch was going to be really tough for this young team, but you don't want them to be out of it by the time they can come around. Look at the pressure we're already putting on them. Like, okay, well, they better start winning these games that are winnable after this stretch is over. We don't want this team to be 2-12, by the time they finally start course correcting. So that's the only thing I would kind of say to the doom and gloom crowd. We're not necessarily trying to do that, but these slow starts and you're not getting the proper play from your veterans, and that affects a young core. You need to get off to the fastest start possible when you have young guys like that.
Yeah, especially if you want to take advantage of where they may be on that kind of emotional, kind of having their morale high as well as a team. Those are real things, regardless of how tangible or intangible. Those are real things, and you want to make sure that their motivation is kept high. You don't want to see Cade Cunningham at the place that he was last year, where he was like at the podium like, yo, we suck. We're a bad team. We got to be real about it. And those quotes resonated. And these guys want to win. No matter what we do to sit up here on this desk and talk about what they need to do better or what we think that they are doing better, I know that they want to win. They're not going out there not trying to. And so, I'm glad, like I said, that there is a certain aspect of care, but I do hope that they figure it out to be able to keep that spark going, because a team can play above its level of expectation when you have that extra motivation there. We talk about it all the time as Detroiters, as Michiganders. We talk about it all the time. And so it's like, I want to make sure that they protect that for the squad, especially when they believe that they checked all the boxes. They believe that we got the coach now, we got the singular voice in the front office, we brought in the right types of vets, we believe in our young players, so we're going to be a better squad. I don't believe they want to hear it's a gauntlet of a schedule to start the season. They just wake up in the morning and they see 0-4.
Yeah.
We wake up in the morning, we see 0-4.
See 0-4 when it could have easily been 2-2.
Easily.
Yes, easily.
At the very least 1-3. Chase, I know you're a positive Chase.
Let's
Tell
go.
me about some of your positive takeaways. I know you alluded to some early on, but I know you want to talk positive. This is your thing, so go on.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the back before the show. Like, the team has played really well. If we can just hunker down defensively a little bit more, we've been letting teams shoot a little bit too efficiently, and we're losing these games. Like, outside, I think the Cavs game, which I didn't get to watch, we've been in these games. They're all less than 10-bit. They're all single-digit losses. So if we can just hunker down defensively, contest a few more shots, and I think we're getting out. Teams are outperforming us in the assist category by 5 to 10 assists a game as well. If we can just work on our own shot selection, swinging the ball a little bit more, I think we're right there on the cusp of being able to win these games. When we were all at the opening night game against the Pacers, I mean, you talked about it. Tobias Harris has not been playing like the vet we expected him to be, and honestly, he's someone I wouldn't mind seeing come off the bench in the sixth man role. I know you guys don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but I just feel like getting Fontecchio in the game more with Cade, rewarding Tim Hardaway for his hard work and his play, just mix some things around. We're close to figuring it out and getting some wins on the board.
Part of that is having a process and sticking to it, and that's the component of it that goes with Tobias Harris, because Tobias Harris playing the way that we believe he can is the best person to start at power forward for the Detroit Pistons. Just that goes without saying. And we still have to see when Ausar Thompson comes back. Right now, I'm for rewarding Tim Hardaway Jr., but a reward isn't necessarily starting. That's making sure that you're getting playing time. Tim Hardaway is going to get his, and it actually, in my opinion, might mesh a little bit better if he has a little bit more space to have a little bit more usage. That's where I believe maybe him off the bench, Fontecchio in the starting lineup until we can see what Ausar Thompson brings to the table. What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward again. It's your boy Brandon, the aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. We got Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network. We're just going to TLB right now, man. It's just time to talk Lions. Word to KG, word to JB Smooth, word to our brother Matthew Broder. And it was a trade that went down. Now, your Kansas City Chiefs have made several trades now, man. Yeah. Several trades to try and bolster things. And so far, the Detroit Lions have kind of just let things go the way they go. And Dan Campbell kind of stirred the pot a little bit, yesterday. Got some looks, some faces, some poses, some maybes as it relates to, do they have anything lined up as it relates to addressing this edge position of need. And you know what? It got the internet kind of fired up, man. But just kind of looking at what the Chiefs have done, especially with the latest trade, do you think that that's something that the Detroit Lions should have done? Do you have any concern to this point? Or are you a little bit more, relieved with at least Dan Campbell's latest statements on their trade deadline aspirations?
I think it's a complicated issue because when I first saw that Josh Uche was traded to the Chiefs, and I think a lot of people probably share my sentiment, it's like those MFing Chiefs, the rich just continue to get richer, and he's not the first one because obviously they went after DeAndre Hopkins earlier, which was a need. And when it comes to the Chiefs, Josh Uche, they have Chris Jones, who's a superstar. They have George Karlaftis, who's good. Michael Dana has been out, but he's looking to come back soon. To me, that's a really good move for them. However, for the Lions, here's the thing. The positives about Josh Uche would have been that, you got him for... He was got for a 6th-round pick. I think a lot of us Lions fans would be like, here, take this 6th-round pick if you could give us Josh Uche. I get it. And I do think Josh Uche is better than any healthy edge rusher that the Lions currently have. However, and this is where I'm going to be level-headed and measured.
Oh, this is the new Flannel, huh?
This is the new and improved. I am a changed man. But I think the Lions are going to get somebody better than Josh Uche.
Ooh,
I think that Josh Uche is a guy who would have helped in some ways, but based off of his career, when you just look at the numbers, when you just look at the metrics, because I haven't watched every Patriots game, sue me for that, but Josh Uche really has been a one-year wonder. He had a phenomenal year in 2022. His numbers play that out. His PFF metrics play that out. Like, here's a perfect stat to describe Josh Uche's career. In that one 2022 season, he had 11.5 sacks. In his 4+ seasons combined, other than that, he's had 9. So that shows me that he hasn't been as consistent. And also, Josh Uche really doesn't give you much against the run. When you look at his entire career, the Patriots just didn't really even play him on rundowns. He had over 800 snaps as a pass rusher and about 250 against the run in his entire career. And quiet as kept, one thing about this Lions defense that has suffered a little bit because of the Aiden Hutchinson injury, other than the pass rush, they've allowed 2 running backs to get 90 yards like back-to-back weeks. Started with Aaron Jones and then with Tony Pollard. Point. I think it shows just how important Hutch was against the run as well. I think the Lions are going to get somebody better. Zadarius Smith is still out there. Harold Landry is still out there. I think those are moves because the Lions still have time that they can make that would actually bolster them back into Super Bowl favorites. I don't think Josh Uche moves the needle that much for this team. I think he does for the Chiefs because they have more on the defensive line. I mean, starting out, their Aiden Hutchinson, Chris Jones is healthy and ours is not. But for the Lions, Josh Uche just doesn't do enough for me to be upset that they didn't get him. Would I take him on this team? Absolutely. Am I crying over spilled milk for Josh Uche? No, I am not.
No, and that's a great observation by you because when Aiden Hutchinson went down, people did say, yes, we do need edge help, but we're still going to be dogs at stopping the run. Yeah. But since he's been down, you've been able to point out a correlation that actually things are trending in a direction we probably don't want them to go. Yeah. And you know what? You get that by having this little time of assessment just before the trade deadline. And when you talk about your locker room and everything, I do shout out to how the Lions are handling this. You're giving people opportunities that are already on your roster during a time where you schemed up enough and you probably thought you had the latitude to be able to assess your roster and have them understand where they are. You're putting it out there on the film now. You're putting it out there now on a stat sheet. So if we go and make a move, it's not that our philosophy before, as it relates to how we take care of our players in-house, our philosophy before of how we want to give people opportunities from in-house, we give the opportunities and then we move on. And I think that from just a locker room standpoint, I think that bodes very, very well, especially when you get another player in here or two that might be taking some of those other minutes.
Yeah, and honestly, this is something that I saw on Twitter, which I actually, when you first see it, you might scoff at it, but when you really look into it, or X, I should call it, it actually makes some sense. Trevor Nowatzki has low-key played pretty well. I'm not saying that he's
And you find that out through the assessment.
Yes, just like a next man up. You don't get anybody because you have Trevor Nowatzki. But Trevor Nowatzki kind of plays Josh Uche's position. So if it were me, what I would want to do, and I'll just give you the Zadarius Smith example. If the Lions traded for Zadarius Smith, I would like to see both Zadarius and Trevor Nowatzki on the field at the same time in some packages. I think that would be more advantageous than, let's just say, Josh Uche and Pat O'Connor. Just given some like hypotheticals out there. So the Lions are going to get somebody better. Am I concerned that they haven't gotten somebody yet? Not quite yet, because they're still a week before the trade deadline. But Josh Uche was not the needle mover that the Lions need.
Let me read some of these in the chat here. Phil said, we ain't making moves. Ed O'Neill says, Jacobs is going to cook us. Oh, my goodness. Phil, Lions would destroy Mahomes. All right, Phil.
Could be.
Terrell from FL, exactly, Kool-Aid. Casuals don't understand that when you have to blitz linebackers to get pressure, you leave open running lanes.
Yes. And and what did I tell you on yesterday's show? In the Vikings game, they did get 4 sacks. In the game against the Titans, they got 1 by Alex Anzalone, but it didn't really matter because it was just an absolute beatdown in so many ways. But you only got 1 from the actual D-line, and that was Josh Paschal. And Josh Paschal's health is up in the air. So I don't think this is something that is sustainable, even over the next couple of weeks. You might be able to go 1-1 in these next 2 if you don't make any moves because the rest of the team is so talented. But when Ed O'Neill says Josh Jacobs is going to cook us, I think that's a little doom and gloom, but I can see the path now because Aaron Jones and Tony Pollard both had big games. Although I wouldn't say that they cooked us, they had big games back-to-back, where previously you didn't see any running back go off.
I got to read this from Phil. I like the new Sam. Hard to rattle him.
I mean, there was something about this weekend that just gave me a bliss. I don't quite know what it was. Maybe he
had a spiritual awakening.
Maybe I got worn down by the Sparty fans who were talking all the shit in the world despite not being in a bowl game the last couple of years. Maybe that got on my nerves, and now they can quietly go back into their hole for a year. Maybe that made me happy.
That makes sense.
I just feel like I am a changed, blissful man.
Listen, man, shout out to hey, did you guys ever catch the show Community?
Yes.
Sometimes,
yes.
I wonder, man. So Abed and Evil Abed. I wonder if we would have gotten Evil Flannel if Sparty would have won. Like, I just wonder what universe we would have woken up into if Sparty would have won.
Honestly, you know what it was, too? It was even during the game. I was prepared no matter what, not that this is a Michigan State topic, to either win with class or lose with class. And that's what I did. I think I won with class yesterday. I extended my hand and said good game. I didn't talk any crap. And a lot of the reason, too, is because I don't think Michigan's good either, but still.
Here's another one from the chat as well, RF. And this was something that we actually kind of talked about a little bit more yesterday. The attention has been on, we just need one edge. But we've been kind of kicking around that we lost a whole lot more than one edge. We lost a lot more on that defensive line than we're really giving it credit for. RF, you need 2 defensive ends, not 1. You go for a high-end pass rusher and a veteran on a friendly contract.
And that's, if you want to give any disappointment for the Chiefs getting Josh Uche, it's because they now have George Karlaftis and Josh Uche and Chris Jones, and whether we like it or not, we have to pay attention to the Chiefs.
Because we keep talking about the fact that the Lions have to make moves, not just to stay in place now, but for Super Bowls. That's what they're doing now. Think about what the Chiefs are doing, because up to this point, all of the noise has been about what the Lions are going to be. You're hearing everybody say, well, right now, Jared Goff is MVP, man. You know, right now, the Lions are the best team. You know, if they meet in the playoffs, I think they might catch them. And right now, they're loading up. They got that defensive line looking right. at a time where you even got fans wondering, is the offensive line all together there if you're going to beat the Detroit Lions? We see now it's how you destabilize Jared Goff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely, because he's not very mobile, and that's not a shot. It's just when any quarterback gets pressured, they're going to be worse. And Jared Goff, he's getting better, though. I will give him this. He's gotten a lot better at avoiding sacks and stepping up into the pocket. But going up against good defensive lines is always formidable. But even from the Lions' point of view, if you want to be disappointed about the Josh Uche thing, I would say if you were to tell me that the Lions' plan was to get 2 and they got Josh Uche and a Zadarius Smith, I'd be doing backflips. That is obviously all dead and gone, but getting 2, I'm not necessarily mad at it. I've heard some proposals that I find kind of interesting. Like I was actually listening, and I'll give credit where credit is due to Scott the Gator Anderson on 97.1 yesterday.
Yeah.
He mentioned the possibility, and I know one of these guys' names is like Voldemort to some of you people, Zadarius Smith and Chase Young. I'd sign up for that in a heartbeat. I know some people feel a certain way about Chase Young, but as like bookends, if you don't have to give up too much, it's at least intriguing.
Yeah. And Chuck Brewer in the chat as well, man. I love, we're going to get the chat as involved as we can today, especially since things are just whatever.
Sure.
And they're on fire today as well. I want additions to be able to do multiple things, not just one. This is how our defense is built. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that Brad Holmes is going to break from tradition to this point. We've seen him largely go out there and find guys that can be versatile. But as it relates to specifically the skill set of edge, I'm okay with that one particular skill set being one of your players. I'm hoping that a second player can give you a little bit more.
Sure. And I think what Chuck Brewer said was right on the money when it comes to Brad Holmes, because I know I keep mentioning them, like the Zadarius Smith and the Harold Landry. They can actually do something against the run, and they're better pass rushers than Josh Uche. Josh Uche was not the prize, but I also have to stress as well that he would have been better at rushing the passer than anybody that we currently have who's healthy on the roster. So I get it, but Brad Holmes, he does want well-rounded guys, and I know our comrade at the station, Neil Rule, put out a short yesterday that kind of blew up on Twitter where he basically said that Josh Uche is James Houston. That's a little disrespectful, but the archetypal comparison isn't that way off. It's just if James Houston is like a poor man's Josh Uche, because James Houston is not good right now.
Yeah, not at all. And you know what? Man. JB, you said KG. I still want your comments, bro. Yeah. Whether the camera is doing this thing or not, definitely need your comments on this as well. Because there's a lot of comments coming in from our chat family. Want to get as much of the ball numbers on this topic as possible. Yeah. And there's a lot. Are you going after just one or two? I know we kind of all believe they need a little bit more depth on our defensive line. And then what types of players are you going after as it relates to your defensive end, or if you're getting one of those, outside linebackers that can also get after the quarterback?
And I said this yesterday. If it's one guy, he has to be a dog. He has to be a Myles Garrett, a Max Crosby, a Trey Hendrickson, maybe. He has to be somebody
is balls out for you.
No, for real, because pause. But it has to be somebody that is a guaranteed double-digit sack guy. That's the only way it's going to work with one guy, because if you lose anybody else to injuries, your D-line is very much compromised. So at this point, I would just go get a dog, and if you can squeeze a second player out of that, I'd be okay with that. But if you just are doing the quantity over quality, then I don't know about that, because you can go get a Josh Uche. That would have been nice, a nice move. I won't deny that. But what is that really doing to push you over the top to get to that next level? We are talking about winning a Super Bowl at this point, and you see what the Chiefs are doing. Around this time of the year, it's normally an arms race for the top teams in the league. They want to add and they want to load up as much as they can, because they know it's a battle of attrition, and coming towards the end of the year, you're going to need as many dogs in the fight as you can get. So, at this point, I would go get a known commodity. Like no offense to anybody
they're agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Lamar said we already got mid-level DEs.
Yeah, like I said yesterday, some of these people are backups for a reason. And we just got to be real about it, man. No offense to anybody lesser than, but if you go get a dog on this team, then I know our defense can be solidified. I trust in what AG and what he's been doing with this defense. So I really feel like if you go get somebody that's solidified, this defense will be able to carry on up until the postseason.
I agree with you, KG. I kind of tried to bring this point home earlier, but I'll just repeat it and frame it a different way. If you're the Chiefs, I do think Josh Uche is a put-you-over-the-top move because of what they already have on their defensive line, because their superstar is healthy and playing and dominating, Chris Jones. Ours, unfortunately, is not. And George Karlaftis is really, really good, and Michael Dana, he's not out for the season, and he showed something last year. I think Josh Uche gives them that element to where they might need a third down stop in the playoffs and Josh Uche gets home. With the Lions, with the amount of injuries that they've had on their defensive line, you need somebody better than Josh Uche to put you over the top. I would take him. I would like him in just with another guy, but I'm not like, oh my God, the Lions missed out on Josh Uche. It's the worst thing ever. I'm confident that they will get somebody better. Yeah. I mentioned Zadarius Smith. I don't know. KG, you don't seem to think that's enough of a needle mover, and I understand.
I would take him. Don't get me wrong
but if it's
at
Smith,
all. But
you would also probably want something else in conjunction.
Yes.
I get you on that. And the chat is still going, man. Yeah. Mike Reed, F them picks. People are all Mike Reed, I agree with KG. People are on that side of, look, let's go and get somebody. Virus. Do we trade for a LB2 for a linebacker? And Ryan's reaction, Kool-Aid, and what if we get no one?
I don't think that's an option right now.
Don't believe that's gonna happen.
I don't think that's an option right now.
Dan Campbell literally teased us at the podium yesterday.
I don't believe that. Last year, they were right. And this year with the teases, I still believe that they're right. Yes. I'll just put it that way.
No, and I don't think that's an option. If it is an option of not getting anybody, we'll have that conversation after the trade deadline, and it'll probably get a certain way. There's still moves to be made because you can talk about how the Lions won these last couple of games, and I'm very, very excited about that. It's just, it sucks, right? I mean, being Brad Holmes is a great thing. It's a great life to live. But what also, as I said yesterday on yesterday's show, is you can do everything right and assemble a roster that is favorites to win a Super Bowl. But what you can't control is injury luck. And it's not his fault that all of those guys have gone down, particularly Aiden Hutchinson. That's the big one. But right now, it is his problem to fix. It's an unfair thing, but the NFL, nothing is more unfair than the NFL.
Yeah, and that's why when I hear Brad Holmes talk about, hey, look, we're building for longevity, not just cute seasons. Honestly, when you're reading in between the lines, it's not just how you manage your contracts, but also how you manage your depth. You have to make sure that you can be insulated to injuries and still be able to achieve the goal no matter who goes down, especially if we have precedences like that. And we know it's not that it's just a push button that you can just find a way to replace what these other players who would be missing would contributing. But you have to have something in place to know that, listen, we have contingencies. And I do trust this regime. They've shown that they can build something good. They've shown that they can build something that I believe will be sustainable. And we've only seen improvement. And even right now, to start the first half of the season with only one loss, that's improvement. Yeah. Even more so. How can you improve over last season? But except for the fact that they're on a pace that they already are. They should be undefeated right now.
Being real, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so, you know, I'm going to trust whatever they do, but I do believe they're going to and they should make a move, or I want them to make a couple, honestly.
The time is now, like somebody said in the chat. I mean, there's no real excuses for it. The team has never been in this position before, but at the same time, this is a Super Bowl, a legitimate Super Bowl run. They are 6-1 right now, best team in the NFC, arguably the NFL, and you have all the resources at your disposal to go make any type of move that you want, whether it is a big name, whether it is a couple lesser names. So a move will get done. I can damn near guarantee a move will get done. We just don't know who it is.
I agree 100%. And to answer one question that was posed earlier about getting a linebacker, shout out to Jack Campbell. He has had himself a really good year.
Let's
I
go
think
Dick Campbell.
he's taken that leap after having after having a good rookie season, but having some struggles. Jack Campbell is, to me right now, he's the best linebacker on the team, even over Anzalone, at least with how they've played so far. I know Anzalone had that monster first game, but after that, Jack Campbell, he's been that guy that you drafted at number 18, which will also help the defense, even if the Lions don't get anybody, which I don't think that's going to happen. But at the very least, you've seen guys step up all across the board, including one Mr. Jack Campbell.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Jack Campbell and those linebackers. And it's been cool to see who he's been adjusting as well. And that's where I do give credence to, you know what, we want the players that Brad Holmes brings in to be able to be versatile, to be able to adjust and step up when we need them to step up. Because I can tell you this, no matter how easy it might have looked against the Titans, no matter how unworried we were against the Vikings, and we just knew they're still going to win this game, you know what? They don't win those games without guys like Jack Campbell stepping up and looking at what they have over the last couple of weeks.
No, they don't, especially with Derek Barnes being hurt and now Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Jack Campbell has been valuable. I mean, just how well he's played. I mean, Derek Barnes has been gone since I forgot when he got hurt, but it was
week
early,
2 or 3.
It was week 2 or 3, and Jack Campbell has been excellent in his stead. But do you know another thing that can help the Lions get to the Super Bowl and maybe win it?
What?
A Jared Goff MVP caliber season, and we're going to talk about it in the next segment.
Let's rock.
But we got New Holland.
Sabbath coffee. Go with Sabbath.
Sabbath coffee.
Hey, you know what? Fuel your Detroit sports and Lions fandom with the perfect cup and become a subscriber of Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you're gearing up for a big game or savoring a quiet morning, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com, choose your favorite roast, and use code Woodward to get 25% off your subscription order. You see that? Hey, rocking with Woodward Sports. You're getting your hot lather. You're getting your specialty treatments. You're getting your specialty coffee delivered right to your door, all for a discount as well. Awake and unwind, support local, and enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go!
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. You got to join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. So you got to trust the guy that 4-time Stanley Cup champion, D-Mac trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And you know what? We're going to take care of you some more, man. All you got to do is walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Got the music going as well. Sit back, relax, and enjoy that $20 haircut special, that scalp massage, that hot lather leather, neck shave, and
Nasty.
hot towel treatment. This feels like one of them old school, super like black gospel McDonald's commercials.
Calvin got a job. Hey, Calvin.
What a hash brown. From one of our talented stylists, take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Just scan that QR code wherever it is and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome, and it's wicked awesome.
McDonald's is helping your community by hiring black youth.
Welcome back in this Wake Up Woodward, and you know what, man? We're going to always have a day. We're going to always have a day, man.
Yeah, you smell like french fries.
Oh, goodness. And we got to talk about somebody very, very important to the Detroit Lions' chances at a Super Bowl. This is the individual we will always knock on wood and say, keep this man safe, keep this man upright, keep this man protected, and just let him do work. That is one, Mr. Jared Goff, who has popped up on everybody's radar. Stick said this a couple weeks ago. I don't have to go and preach the gospel anymore. It's already resonated. You guys are now doing it for me. Everybody now, and it's gone national. It started here, and it started to swell. And then the NFC North had to start to get on one knee and bow their heads. And now the NFC is starting to do that. And now the NFL and sports world, all across the spectrum, even one Stephen A., our old friend, Broder's old friend, his nemesis. He's even saying, you know what? As I'm sitting here looking at everything right now, that brother's MVP. Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. It's funny because the last game, you look at the fact that he only had to throw 85 yards, and it wasn't necessarily the one where he had the most impact, but what it was it's a continuation of the excellent season that he's having, and it's a continuation of this stretch of about 5 games where he's been damn near perfect. And right now, as it stands, Jared Goff is first in completion percentage, first in yards per attempt in the NFL, second in quarterback rating, and the Lions have the number 1 scoring offense, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Jared Goff is playing the best football of his life without a shadow of a doubt. But one thing that was discussed amongst myself and a couple of people at the watch party, because this was during the post game when I wasn't on camera, is did this game help or hurt Jared Goff in the MVP race? And to me, in my opinion, it helped because he moved up on my MVP ballot. If Flannel Sam had to make one, he moved up on my list. He is now, to me, he was 3rd last week in my list, and this week he is 2nd. And this is where the MVP race is something in which you have to nitpick, and it sucks.
Do you mind sharing who's first real quick?
Josh Allen.
Okay.
The Baltimore Ravens lost, and it wasn't Lamar Jackson's fault in the slightest, but we're talking about the MVP. You got to nitpick a little bit, and to me, that is why Lamar Jackson is 3rd and Jared Goff passed him. And I understand that it's a lot different circumstances, and it will be one of the easiest performances Jared Goff will have in his entire career, but you know what? They won. He played clean, didn't have to do a whole lot, and when you just look at the numbers that he's put up, it's staggering. I know most of us, I'd say all of us to some extent, were confident in what he could do and be the quarterback of this team when they win a Super Bowl, but I don't think anybody expected MVP level performances, especially after how the season started. After the first couple of weeks, Jared Goff wasn't playing his best, but now you can make a real argument that if the season ended today, he would be number 1.
And honestly, his efficiency and how this Lions offense has been playing is the reason why I believe he doesn't have even more stats. We've seen that when the Detroit Lions have had to get into a shootout, they've been able to get into a shootout. And he's been able to go the whole game doing that. That Chargers game just always sticks out. Yeah. And I love the way that they just kind of put belt to tail with some of these teams in like halves, especially the Oakland Raiders game, which was kind of like the end of that current regime that they had at the time. And now you got Pierce and his regime in there. And it's, man, what I want to make sure is always stated when we talk about a Jared Goff and his candidacy is this. There's no Aiden Hutchinson. They lost several players on the defensive line. The offensive line has not been necessarily what we have known it to be, and Jared Goff has continued stellar play. And if anything, setting new records, showing like, okay, all right, sweet. So you've had a perfect half, which, wow. Our quarterback did that. But then you had a perfect game as well. While we're winning, you're contributing to winning. And the reason why your stats aren't like 400 or 300 or 320 is because realistically, you're so efficient. The offense is doing what it has to do. And then you got running backs that can at any point in time, and this is not hyperbole or over-exaggeration, they can go literally for 20 or 30 yards every single time. Every time I see Jahmyr Gibbs line up in the backfield, I am now never shocked if I see him get 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards. I'm cheering, but I'm not shocked anymore.
Honestly, the best compliment I can give to Jahmyr Gibbs to further on that is that I'm shocked that last week was his first 70-yard run of his career. Because he is just, when you talk about explosive.
Like, oh, for real? I thought I'd seen that before.
When you talk about explosive running backs, it starts and ends with Jahmyr Gibbs being at the top. It just does. And to go back to the whole Jared Goff thing, yeah, he's been absolutely spectacular this season. And I'm actually, when you talk about the whole Aiden Hutchinson thing, I was devastated when it happened. I think most Lions fans were devastated, and I would give anything on earth for him to be back on that field healthy, including my own leg. I would give it to Aiden Hutchinson if that meant he could get back on the field healthy. However, when you talk about MVP and you talk about narratives, if the Lions end the season with the best record in the NFL, regardless of if they sign somebody or not, and you can point to Jared Goff in this offense overcame an Aiden Hutchinson season-ending injury, that is some really, I would say, a fodder for the narrative, which, and rightfully so, by the way, it does make everybody's job on the team harder. So wish Aiden Hutchinson was here, but if you want Jared Goff to get some extra narrative points, then why not make something good out of a bad situation, right?
How baller is this guy?
First or last.
And did you see Kristen Goff's costume as well?
I'm sure she looked good in it. I'll just say that.
He has a wife.
I do have a wife. But my wife would even let me have that as somebody that I had a crush on for
That's
sure.
a real one.
100%.
That's a real
100%. Not a hall pass, but
No, I get you.
But yeah, she
I love the
what's understood don't need to be said. I got you. Shout out my baby Shy at home.
All of us on the show is just looking at Flannel like
respect.
It's like, yeah, get it, man. But you know what? Jared Goff right now, the rhythm that he's in, I don't even know how we explain it, because generally when we see these types of runs, it's from the quarterbacks that people associate with having the bigger arm or being flashier or being mobile. This guy just locks in and does what he has to do. And how true now? I got to call it a prophecy. Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell and Ben and Brad Holmes have consistently said this, even when people laughed at it. I remember when we first made the graphic and what people did. When they said, we believe Jared Goff can make any throw we'd ask him to. We think he can. And then Dan Campbell said, we believe that Jared Goff can make any throw.
Yeah.
And it was just like, we made those graphics. People laughed. People said, y'all know what y'all doing. And to a large degree, we kind of did. Because we didn't really know what we were getting. And all he's done is proven them right. They looked us in the face and said these things seriously. And now we see what Goff is doing, and I think it's a little difficult sometimes to just be like, you know what? The guy is what he is. You know what? For whatever his superpower, I don't care how boring the game may be, the results are just what they are. If it's gold in the end, it's gold in the end. That's been Jared Goff.
Go ahead, KG.
Yeah, and people don't want to give him enough credit for elevating his game. Like, I'm looking at his stats right now. Jared Goff is a 65.1% completion percentage for his career, right? Guess what he's doing this year?
74.
74.1. Now, guess what the highest completion percentage in a season is?
67.
74.4.
We're talking about a season in NFL. I thought you said his.
Yeah. No, but
did not think the highest was 67. Just
no,
to be clear.
but no. But yeah, 74.4 is the highest completion percentage in a season. That was done by Drew Brees in 2018. Ooh. Jared Goff is on a pace. Like, he's playing the most accurate football we have seen in quite some time, and maybe ever. And we just got to be real about it. I think he's the MVP right now. I mean, he went 12 for 15 in this last game, even though he had under 100 yards. Still hella good completion percentage. But the fact that they normally give the MVP to the best quarterback on the best team, and I think it's arguable right now that the Lions are the best team in the NFL. You can argue the Ravens, but I would say defensively they have taken a step back. which is crazy considering all the athletes they have. I think Jared Goff is right up there. If you still want to put Lamar Jackson there, I can't necessarily sweat you because of what he can do with his legs and how he improvises plays. But on that same token, Jared Goff is the best quarterback on the best team in the NFL, and he is showing you that.
JB, can you put a poll up, man? Who people believe that the first half MVP is, if it's Jared Goff or not?
I got you.
Well, let me ask you this, KG, because you mentioned Lamar Jackson, and I think the reason people got upset with me last time we did this list is because they maybe thought I was overly glazing every other player and maybe not doing the same to Goff. But I'm not gonna do that today.
Right?
Am I way off in having Josh Allen number one?
I don't think you're way off because, like I said, I got to give it to you, Pause. Like you said, you predicted this with Josh Allen. You said that he would be that guy that would be able to make receivers, and I personally had never seen that, so I just had to see it. And so far, so good. They just got Amari Cooper, which is a thumbs up for them. But ultimately, he's done it on his own throughout the whole year, and he hasn't had a turnover. At least I don't think he have a turnover.
One.
He had one. Okay, but before that, he had no turnovers, double-digit touchdowns, and he does it on the ground and with his arms. So, I mean, I don't think it's the worst take in the world. I would just argue that the Bills are just not the best team when comparing the Lions and the Ravens to them.
When it's all said and done, it might play out that way. They are 6-2 right now, but I'll that's my little Josh Allen sidebar. I'll get back on Goff because something was brought up about Drew Brees having the highest completion percentage in a season of all time, which isn't surprising, by the way, considering how efficient he was even during his prime in those last couple of years in New Orleans. You mentioned how Jared Goff, at least, which is funny to say because he was a number one overall pick, he doesn't necessarily wow you with his arm talent or his mobility or anything like that. With Jared Goff, his superpower right now, at least how it's been elevated being in like year 3 of this same system, is his mind and his timing with his receivers. And he's also gotten a little bit more savvy in the pocket, by the way, which maybe was another level he needed to get to. And when you talk about his brain, when you talk about his timing, when you talk about his decision making, that to me sounds like Drew Brees. That to me sounds like Tom Brady. And I'm not saying that Jared Goff is those guys yet.
But Dan Campbell is the one who started the narrative of comparing Jared Goff to some aspects of Drew Brees, because he said, I was around Drew Brees. We all know that he's from that Sean Payton tree, so I don't believe that that's unfair. We understand that Drew Brees didn't necessarily jump off the charts for measurables, mobility, and such. He just got the job done, and at the end of the day, you couldn't argue with it. A Super Bowl helped him, though.
Sure, I mean, and that's the thing. It's an archetype. It doesn't mean that Jared Goff has to obviously accomplish more and he'll never be Tom Brady, obviously, in terms of accomplishments, because the only one who I think can be is Patrick Mahomes. That's another story for another day. But in terms of an archetype for a quarterback that can make more of the throws than you think that he can, but also it's with his brain, it's with his ability to know the system, be in sync with his wide receivers. And with Tom Brady, he became, as his career went on, excellent at he was one of the most mobile, non-mobile quarterbacks you'll ever see, with just his ability to manipulate the pocket, step up, avoid sacks, and that's what you're seeing from Jared Goff. So I'm not saying Jared Goff is Tom Brady. It's just you can be a dominant Super Bowl winning quarterback, Super Bowl MVP winning quarterback, while not necessarily having the physical gifts as, say, like the Mahomeses and the Allens of the world. That's more what I meant when it's the archetype.
You know what word I loved that you used there is superpower. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, Goff has a superpower. Whether it looks like Superman's or not, he got one. Maybe he just is the Batman out there. Maybe it's, he's not working with what everybody else has as it relates to what they believe might be a certain arm strength or arm slot or arm angle or speed or this or that. Maybe he's just going out there, like we've seen the Lions doing, and beating the F out of people's faces with his bare hands. Yeah. He's just getting the job done. That's what I'm talking about. So it's like, at this point in time, this isn't where my opinion started with Jared Goff. This is what he's earned. Like, at this point in time, obviously there's one more step in the pedestal, and that's winning a Super Bowl. But up to this point, there's not a lot that I can state about Jared Goff because he's producing. And he's doing it at a historic clip right now.
If they win the Super Bowl, as I've said, Jared Goff is going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And honestly, the way that he's putting up numbers, and this is just a hypothetical, I'm obviously knocking on wood, if he puts together maybe, especially since he's still in his 20s, 5 more seasons that look similar to this and last year, he might go even without a Super Bowl ring. We all think that he will get one. We all think that he will get one, but...
And hope.
Obviously hope, but when you combine last season, the year before, what he's doing this season with the numbers he put up in year 2 and 3 in Los Angeles, he's becoming... And this year's been the culmination of it, a dominant regular season quarterback. I don't think you could quite say that last year and the year before. He was ascending to that, but he has become that this year.
Yeah.
Like an MVP candidate.
He's been a quarterback who we know if he plays clean football, like the Detroit Lions are winning the game.
Yes.
It's been like that. Even in the playoffs, we saw it play out that way as well. And, what are you thinking over there, KG? One, Jared Goff, man. I just, the narratives around him, I'm just hoping that those things are starting to be put to rest.
Yeah, people just get caught up in the stigma of seeing him as a Ram, and that's always been the problem with Jared Goff. People can't get over that vision that Sean McVay gave up on him, and they think, oh, it was his fault. He's broken. I think it's more so Sean McVay's fault because he was trying to fit Jared Goff into a system for a long time, and it did work to a degree. They got to a Super Bowl, but after a certain amount of time and they started losing talent, he expected Goff to fit into what he wanted to do instead of doing what Ben Johnson did and create an offense purely around what your quarterback is good at. And we have seen Jared Goff, since he's become a Detroit Lion, just ascend into an even better quarterback, far better than anything he was with the Rams. And we saw him put up numbers with the Rams. But I think now he's a way better quarterback than what he was back then because of how this offense is catered to him, how he controls this offense. He makes all the checks. He calls the plays. Just the trust that Ben Johnson has in him to go out there and execute a game plan, find flaws in the defense and execute. And he's playing some of his most accurate football. I mean, I haven't even seen a duck in a while. I mean, we used to talk about ducks. Where are the ducks at this season?
They've just been on dots.
They all look like dimes to me.
Dots and dimes.
I'm just saying, man. We just got it. When you seeing greatness, sometimes you just got to shut up and give it up, bro. And this is what we are seeing right now. We hope it culminates in the Super Bowl. You don't want it to be for nothing, but I feel confident at the quarterback position for the first time in a very long time. Yeah, and it's good to say that.
And it's not comfortability as it relates to do we have a good quarterback. You're saying this in the context of winning a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Right. And Art Vandelay, Goff's superpower is making this look so easy. People think if you just put in any quarterback back there, they could do the same.
And at this point, as we've talked about, when you're a quarterback like Jared Goff, who has all of the strengths that we laid out before, when you have the kind of continuity, like Jared Goff becomes damn near unstoppable. Ben Johnson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, offensive line, running game. And that's not to diminish him. It's just, it's part of his superpower is just making it look. I mean,
how would that have been attractive, though? Ben Johnson.
It don't seem like he sweats.
Does he even sweat out there?
It don't look like it.
But it's just like boop, boop.
Ben Johnson the whole time looks like he's like at his kid's soccer game.
Yeah.
There's never no stress. Like, oh yeah, we just out here just another trick play. Another trick play.
The point is that you can't just plug somebody in there on day one and make it look the same because of the continuity that's been built with Jared Goff being one of the reasons why, with his ability to take in all of the information. I mean, he's one of the smartest players in the NFL. There's no question about it. And I think he's proven that, especially with this season, but even with the last couple.
Yep, definitely. I want to let me see here where the voting is. Obviously, our chat family has Goff 86% of the vote as the first half MVP. And I do wonder, the people who don't have him as the first half MVP, what are some reasons why you would? Obviously, you do believe that Josh Allen, up to this point, is that guy, but you do believe that Jared Goff is right there. And chat family, I want to hear a little bit more about what you guys think about it, too.
It has nothing to do with what Jared Goff has not done. It's just Josh Allen has had a hell of a season himself. But before what's trending, do you guys want to go around the NFL for a second? Because there were some results, particularly one that happened in the nation's capital that are pretty noteworthy. I'll just say that.
Yeah, let's go around it and I know we're going to probably talk about a lot more about him in the week, but just shout out to Kerby Joseph, too. I just want to say shout out to Kerby Joseph. he continues to do his thing. And if it's about around the NFL, we got to talk about one of the NFL's top 2 safeties because they both are on the line.
We will do a whole segment on Kerby Joseph, I promise, within the next couple of days. You have my word on that. But first, JB Smoove, where do you want us to go with this?
Let's do Swiss and Salvation Army.
Got you. Now more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. You guys already know Swiss is going to make sure to protect you from your current provider or from slipping in anything extra, including those fees, man. They got you. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698. Visit them online, SwissINS.com, and let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
And yes, have you ever thought about volunteering but don't know where to start? Start with the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. Visit registertoring.com to sign up for shifts. You'll have an option to choose a 2-hour session at a physical Red Kettle site or participate in a virtual bell ringing shift to raise funds from the comfort of your own home. Virtual bell ringers can sign up and begin raising funds at any time. Traditional bell ringing begins on Friday, November 7th and runs through Christmas Eve, excluding Thanksgiving and Sundays. To sign up for volunteer shifts, visit registertoring.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go!
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. And then after you drive home and don't leave the rest of the night, have yourself some 1800 tequila.
1800.
Official tequila of Woodward Sports, Lions watch parties, and post-game show. The Tequila girls, I think, will be there this Sunday for the game at Green Bay, the Hey Social Watch Party, which concerns none of us because other women don't exist,
right?
Just our significant others.
Yep.
Live at
Shout
Hey
out,
Social in Shelby Township, and celebrate the wins with Smooth 1800 Tequila, proud sponsor of your Detroit Lions. 1800 Tequila, the best taste in tequila. Drink responsibly.
And we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for kicking off today with the WUW Crew and being patient through some of the technical difficulties earlier. But we got things back on the go. Lions Talk was uninterrupted.
Yes.
And I thought it was really good conversation. The chat family was electric with it as well. Let's get into this around the NFL conversation. I think one of the most electric games, or at least electric finishes. Jaden Daniels, Hail Mary. To put the Chicago Bears down.
Yeah, and I think we've all seen the footage at this point that Tyreek Stevenson was taunting the fans when the play was going on. And it was ultimately Tyreek Stevenson who batted the ball for some reason straight up in the air that went into the outstretched hands of Noah Brown. I didn't realize that there was a coaching malfeasance and executing malfeasance way to defend a Hail Mary, but the Bears just proved that there is. For some reason, they had TJ Edwards as a spy on Jaden Daniels, if Jaden Daniels, there was a possibility that he was going to run 50-some yards for a touchdown. And then, of course, nobody even accounted for the fact that somebody might be leaking out to the back and Noah Brown. Every single one of them just went for the ball, and Tyreek Stevenson, of course, tipped it up and backwards, where if he knocks it down, the Bears probably win. But, that might be the type of win, and as Lions fans, we love to see it, that completely demoralizes the Bears. Because that would have been such a huge win for them, and they got it snatched
couldn't have
away.
happened to somebody better.
You just hate to see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
Talk to me, KG.
Nah, man. And how many times have we seen this happen with the Lions in the past? So,
So I'm not feeling bad for nobody.
no remorse. You hear me, man? No fucking remorse. But I mean, the Bears, they have been playing pretty solid football against bad teams, might I add. But the results are the results. They were, 6-2 before that?
They were 4-2.
Oh, 4-2, excuse me.
So now they're
but
4-3.
Yeah, so they were 4-2 before that, but that's a huge loss in the NFC North, man, because you don't want them and the Packers to continue winning. Now, we're going to handle our business this week against the Packers. We're going to go into Lambeau and show them what's really good, but you did not want the Bears to keep going on this pace, man. So, happy to see it, and Tyreek Stevenson, you got to be off my team, bro.
No, seriously. Seriously.
Has he joined now that kind of CJ, GJ air? Taunting the fans before the game is over and then being part of
No, because he didn't do it in the middle of a play. He did it during the half, which I don't like that either, but it's better than what Tyreek Stevenson did. That was unacceptable.
Talk to me,
like,
man.
that was your man. Noah Brown was your assignment, bro, and you somehow, some way tipped it backwards into the end zone. Like you said, if you slap it down, ball game. Like, I don't understand that. Like, it makes no sense to me. You will be lucky to have a job going into next year.
Hey, shout out to Easy. I see you guys. I've seen you guys all morning. Easy and Stick going at it, and it's epic, man. The chat is loving it, too. He got the handshake emoji for him and Stick. And what are they kumbayaing over?
FTB.
FTB. Yeah. Hating the Bears.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's go. I absolutely love it, man. Like I said, it couldn't have happened to a better team than the Chicago Bears. Yeah. I don't want any more upstarts. I don't want anybody feeling good about themselves, especially before they play the Detroit Lions. I want them in their place before they get to this game. I already know that we're going to get every team's best shot, period. That's what we're seeing the Lions face right now. And then what are these teams doing the weeks after? Before they're coming in with all of this momentum and noise, then they meet the Lions and they leave with the Honolulu flu.
Yes, and I'm sure that'll afflict the Titans as well. I don't know who they're playing, but they're probably going to lose because they just suck.
They blow.
They're awful. But it has happened to good teams like the Minnesota Vikings. And the Vikings, you could say that they have the whole short week thing going to LA. I get that it's difficult, but still, the Honolulu doesn't just affect the bottom feeders. The Seahawks were good at the time, and they're tied for the division lead. The Vikings were undefeated at the time, and they're still 5-2. So if you come in and play the Detroit Lions, you are going to lose the next week. It's science at this point. It should be in like the CDC or whatever.
Real shit.
Real shit. Bet in that. Like, seriously, it's like, you know what? I'm going to start looking at this now. Like, is Vegas just buttering people up? Because aren't you just going to go and have to bet against every team that loses to the Lions?
About to start to.
You have to at least test the theory, right? But I'm glad that kind of as we look at the landscape of the NFL, it gives us more of a perspective of the Lions as well and how everything going on is affecting their current run. And that's why I'm like, great, FTB, the Packers.
Yeah, they did get a win.
They got a win.
It's so funny
because came at a little bit of a cost.
Yeah, that could be for sure. And I was talking at the end of the Jaguars Packers game. I'm not going to say I called it, but I know with my own eyes, because I've seen it too many times, when a quarterback is just born under a bad sign. And yes, I'm going to defend Trevor Lawrence here. Oh. I knew that he was going to lead the game-tying drive and that the Packers would go down and kick a field goal and everybody's reaction would be, Trevor Lawrence sucks. I knew it was going to happen. I could see it happening. And unfortunately, the Packers were able to get a win to where next week, it's not for all of the marbles, but as far as the division lead goes, it's for the division lead at Lambeau. But as you said, I'd feel a lot more. I'd feel confident that the Lions would win no matter what, although without an extra edge rusher, that my confidence wavers a little bit. But if you can get to play Malik Willis, who to his credit has looked better with the Packers, I'd still feel a lot more relaxed about the Lions' chances, although they can beat anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. I don't relax against the Packers, period, because that's a team who they're going to bring their A game, and unlike the Titans, who it lasted for a couple drives. I heard Uncle T. Foss and the legend, young legend Matt Broder on Woodward and Maine discussing the fact that, similar to what we were discussing, Jared Goff and co were talking about, we knew we were going to get a couple drives from them, a couple scripted, a couple different things than what we had seen, and then after that, we basically figured them out. The Packers actually, though, they have a little bit more skill, a lot more talent. They have beat us recently, and they have the opportunity to say, you know what, why not us? They had a more than decent season last year, and they're going to be hopped up no matter who's behind quarterback, and we've seen that so far this season.
And you know what, too, with the Packers, and I know we're going to preview it more as the week goes on.
Yeah.
Their off-season, getting Josh Jacobs, I had some questions about it. He's been really good.
Yeah.
And Xavier McKinney, unfortunately, he got a pick too, so he still leads the NFL in interceptions. So they made some power moves, and they're 6-2. They're definitely formidable, and that's why it would have been really, really nice if the Jaguars could have got that one. But that final drive was sparked by
We'll do it ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. It was sparked by a Malik Willis to Jaden Reed big play. Speaking of guys who have taken that leap, Jaden Reed's going to be a problem, but hopefully it's a problem that the Lions can solve.
Yeah, because largely we haven't given up a lot of points. We've seen wide receivers this year look a lot more pedestrian than last year, and I said it with a little tongue-in-cheek because we did see a wide receiver get off in the first quarter against the Lions from the Titans, but at least it wasn't 200 and something odd yards or 180 yards. But obviously against the Packers, this is a game where you need everything else that you can control to control. And I believe that the secondary has largely kept wide receivers in check, but you want to see them go out there and actually have the opportunity to control things, not just from your safeties, but those cornerbacks as well. And guys like Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson, those guys have been dogs, especially as vets. Yeah. And I want to see Terrion Arnold continue to be the player that he is. I know that there's this kind of zoomed-in focus on him, but when you take a step back and you look at how this defense has performed overall as a whole, we know this, that if Terrion Arnold was not up to par, this defense would look a lot worse. This defense would be giving up more points. But so I'm going to take the overall. Yes, there are things we want to see him get cleaned up, but overall, I know that these guys are licking their chops to say, you know what, let's shut down the noise of the Packers.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Do you guys want to get into some mailbag and sticks in the building?
Why not? We smoking that green and yellow pack, though, this Sunday. I'm telling you.
Talk about it.
I'm telling you.
Let's get into it, man. Let's take a quick one. What bills you want us to pay Mr. JB Smooth?
Let's do Dispo and Second Best.
Absolutely. Dispo, where
what
they've got
pairing.
Hey, a great pairing for some on a Friday night. How would you like to win free bud for a year? That's right, free smoke, weed, reefer, flower, however you refer to your favorite cannabis product. It's your chance to win free cannabis for a year, compliments of Dispo Dispensary. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen, sign up, and you will be entered for a chance to win. Don't miss out on this insane giveaway. Sign up today to elevate your game. Dispo Dispensary, your local plug, must be 21 or older to enter. Terms and conditions apply.
Where the best Lions pregame show party is, every single home game, it's at Detroit's very own Second Best Bar. What's better than celebrating that the Lions are about to go and kick someone's tail than in the city amongst the fans where the party's happening? Right on 42 Watson Street, it's the ultimate fan experience. Enjoy some smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching the Woodward Sports pregame show only at Second Best Bar. Come get some.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You and I pay our bills. Unlike my opponent, Dave Coulter, I won't take advantage of my job because I work for you. I'm Nick Jonai, and by the way, I do pay my water bills on time, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Nick Jonai for Oakland County.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza, the best place to go for any of your meal needs, lunch, dinner, and you know what? At every watch party, Soroki's is there for us, and man, every single time I never get tired of it. I always leave full. They got the best chicken, potato wedges, wings, pizza, biscuits that are absolutely to die for.
Stop, bro, I'm hungry.
And they are all over Metro Detroit. So get yourself some Soroki's today, and then you never want to buy a house on an empty stomach. I don't know if you've heard that old wives' tale, but I certainly have. So you go to Soroki's, and then you go to Mark White. If you're dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch, Mark White is the way to go. They will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. So give Mark $5,000. That is a huge. That's bigger than you guys even know. So give Mark White a call. Go to his website and he'll get you right.
Hey, he'll get you right. You know what? We're gonna get into this mailbag. Just from the jump, man, and anything goes. Mailbag, flamethrower, stickers in the building. Let's get it going. So let's hear from our friends at the great Feldman.
Absolutely. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey, and we're back. It's now time for the Wake Up Woodward Feldman mailbag segment. And you know what? There are some comments in here that we got to talk about here. Just a little update to the who is your first half of the season MVP for the NFL. Jared Goff, you might be surprised to hear this stick. He's leading right now with 84% of the vote.
Oh, we got some smart fans. That's why.
Hey,
the gospel has been spread. The awakening has happened. We've gone from just 12 followers, 12 of my golf apostles.
You're a full-blown cult now.
to now we are ready to take our turn. We had to wander the desert for a while, but we found people. We found a home.
It's like an IFB church over there.
And you know, we always have Judas Easy in the crew, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, he's going to stab you in the back and turn you over to the Packers at some point for Jordan Love. But that's okay. You can crucify Jared Goff, but what does he do? You can crucify him in L.A. What does he do? He resurrects in Detroit.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm having a religious experience.
On the 7th day he rose.
No, you know why? You know why Sam's? Because it's making sense, isn't it, Sam? Like the stories match up, don't they, Sam?
So when I jokingly referred to you that you referred to him as Jesus Goff, you're not
Jesus
Goff. He actually died and on the 3rd day he rose again.
Yeah. It's the gospel, man. We gotta spread the gospel. There are still non-believers.
He is seated at the right hand of the Father.
Are you saying GOFFSPEL?
Yeah, the gospel.
The gospel.
It reminds me of Super Troopers. Are you saying meow? What meow?
Oh my God.
Dog, y'all heard it here first.
He turns blue Kool-Aid into his own blood.
Oh my God. Jared Goff, first half MVP and more.
And Savior.
We got Greg. I go back 50 years later. Always felt Lions better. What? I don't know what that one is, Greg. You're going to have to give me the context. But Jason Helton said, what are the chances of Chase Young becoming available? Saints are tanking.
Available high. There's no reason for the Saints to have him. They're going nowhere. He makes probably more. He doesn't make a lot of money, but it would be a nice little salary cap dump. So he's definitely going to be available.
Yeah.
He will not be on this team. He will not be on the Saints after the trade deadline. No chance.
Yeah, and you know what? Big Con 51. This is the one I was looking for. This game against the Packers, Lions and Packers. He says it has more implications than people are giving it. Yes. And I wonder how much of that is just you come off a big victory, you're kind of selling in that, and generally Tuesdays when you start to, and Wednesday, get even more into your prep for that game ahead as well. Like I wonder, or at least for fans, you know, we're just getting over Victory Monday. So I believe that this game has a lot of implications.
Absolutely, and we can save a lot of the high-level
first place
stuff
is on the line
for later in the week. But yeah, first place is on the line. Unfortunately, it's not like last season where, as I've mentioned before, the Lions pretty much were mathematically division winners by week 5. Everybody's over 500 in the NFC North.
Yep, just a fan, it appears Matt LaFleur is making his QBs look better, not the other way around.
I mean,
is it the system or is it love?
Matt LaFleur is a hell of a coach. I mean, in the NFC North, you've got 3 really good ones, and then Matt Eberflus, who looked like he was showing some improvements, but he really mismanaged that Hail Mary. I'll just say that.
Yeah, and I agree with Jason Helton. This should have been the Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football game. Yes, I agree.
It is 425 though. That's like was a big like
America's game of the week.
Game of the week because we are America's team.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we also get Tom Brady on the call.
Hey.
A lot of people not a fan of Brady this year.
But keep in mind, any game that Brady has called for us, we have won as well.
Hey, you know, shout out Tom Brady.
Let's keep the mojo going. Tom Brady, Jared Goff Jr. Ryan's reaction, mailbag. Y'all see
Jared Goff.
y'all see MCDC state, you guys are wasting energy when asked about his trolling comment about a trade possibility. Can it? Wait.
Dude.
There's no way they sit idle at the trade deadline. Oh, I see Flannel's drinking his water already. There's no way that they sit idle at the trade deadline, is it?
No.
Before I saw that Dan Campbell clip yesterday, I thought there was a way. I mean, I thought there was a percentage of it that they're comfortable with who they have. They're comfortable with the improvements in the secondary. Think that can cover up the front line.
It was never going to happen, Steve.
They
was always going to get someone.
We would hope so, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if they didn't, like I said, I've thrown myself in the River Goff, and I'm just going to go with the flow. So we're good with that.
My boy Dan Campbell just has everybody.
Dude,
like he is
Dan
the
Campbell's the best.
He got to say the tizzy, man.
Doing this, and we're
biggest,
just like,
the biggest, baddest dude on the planet.
He's Geppetto right now.
I don't know. Do you tell me? I don't know.
Gossiping and shit.
Just
You're like I got a secret. I can't tell you.
I'm gonna actually start having fun with this, man.
And it must be so nice to be in that power position and know, because they know. We don't know, but they know, and Dan Campbell knows. Like, that got me so excited because that's so out of character for him.
Yeah.
That is not something we've seen in the press. We know he's kind of a goofy guy sometimes, but that was just like over-the-top animation to prove a point that, hey, rest of the league, you're about to get fucked. Like, that's what I took out of that.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what they do, this is just the team that they are now. That I do have to agree with. The last couple weeks, you're talking about winning that game against the Vikings, where so many people were ready to write the narrative. We knew the Lions were on the way down without Hutch. And instead, they've gone out there and they beat everybody's media darling, and then they smacked, absolutely, I'm talking about with a strong hand, smacked the Tennessee Titans around, and they didn't have to do much or even break a sweat, as you said earlier, KG.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, he wasn't sweating against the Titans, literally.
No, he wasn't. And that's the mark, because I think most of us were very I predicted the Lions to win 34-17, and they blew those expectations out of the water. They showed absolutely no mercy when the Titans just kept giving the ball away and being terrible on special teams. The Lions would just take those short fields and march it right into the end zone.
Ed O'Neill is just absolutely burying the San Francisco 49ers here. Feldman Mailbag from Ed O'Neill. Would you agree and say that the Packers are the last big NFC test that the Lions have left?
No.
Nah.
That's a little...
Not even close
aggressive.
this year.
No.
Not this year.
Who else would be a bigger test?
I mean, the 49ers at San Francisco.
You still believe in what they could be?
I believe that going to San Francisco with all of the talent that they have is going to be tough. Do I think that the 49ers will be seated above the Lions? Certainly not, but I still think they'll win that division.
The Lions are a better team than the Niners this year.
They are.
I don't care about the talent that the Niners got. It's not the same.
And
It's
the
not the
Niners
same
got
this
that haunting thing that's hanging over their head of just never being able to get to that mountaintop.
They are this year's Bills or
yeah.
this generation's Bills.
I said it last year. Lindsey Hunter didn't want to hear it, but I'll tell it to you again. When that pressure starts wearing on you, that you can only get so far. We've come so close so many times, and then when one little thing goes, oh well, now Debo's out. Oh well, now Ayuk's out. Oh, Christian McCaffrey's out. It's just, I don't know. The world does not want the 49ers to win.
They've blown 2 double-digit leads in the Super Bowl. That's insane.
And if the Lions do the NFC Championship the same way they did last year, we'll have the same conversation about them. Like, now that pressure.
Sure.
Now when you show up to the NFC Championship game, it's oh my God, it's a thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, it's a thing.
And every year it gets worse. Like the first couple years, it looked all shiny and look at this team. They're on the upcoming. Now, last year they limped through the playoffs. Man, they were lucky to even get to the Super Bowl. To be honest with you,
it's like the Bills.
Then they got smacked. So
yeah. Hey, Randall Smalls, Feldman Mailbag. Is this team without Hutch and additions better than last year's team with him and no secondary?
Yes. 100% yes.
That's a question.
What was the question again?
No, that's
okay.
It's not a tough question, guys. What are we thinking about
and additions better than last year's team with him and the secondary that they had last year? To put it as Randall put it, no secondary.
They're better this year. I mean,
how many yards Justin Jefferson go for last year in the last game they played?
1 million.
A lot.
How many go for this year?
That's fair.
You can't be giving up 150 to 200 yards to any receiver. I don't care how good they are.
That's fair.
So,
and we can, if I'm arguing against myself, we could use the Calvin Ridley first quarter against me as some proof. But then 14 points
didn't mean anything.
It didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So.
That's a fact.
Yeah, no, this secondary, that's why, KG, like, I know you're not comfortable with it, and I know it makes a lot of people cringe if they don't go get this defensive end that's going to make sure we win a Super Bowl. That not even guaranteed if they do, but either way, like, that's why.
It'll improve your odds a lot.
Yeah, but you do improve your shot, but that's why I'm so sold on what this secondary can be that I think it replaces what we're missing right now.
Dope. Let me see.
I can't hate it.
Yeah. Shane Daniel. You know what? We'll end on this one. Do you think the way that Hooker looked during the game affected his trade value?
Don't give a damn.
I was like, hey, we'll just end on that one.
I mean, no.
No, not at all.
Terrell from FL. We've had our words before. I love Terrell.
Shout out Terrell.
Yeah,
that's my guy.
He said exactly, I don't want to be the next San Francisco 49ers. Making no moves assures that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't San Francisco make a move last year?
Yeah, Chase Young.
Did that assure them a Super Bowl?
No.
They got farther than the Lions, though.
By a
half. Yeah, literally a half.
They did,
football.
and that's a fair argument, but they did. The objective is Super Bowl.
They
right?
were Super Bowl or bust, and they busted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I'm saying, just because you make a move doesn't mean it changes everything. And they even went and got Chase Young, the game changer.
If they had got Montez Sweat instead of Chase Young.
There you go.
Right. That was on them.
But then you get into salary cap and whether he fits in the locker room and like all that stuff, man. There's more to it.
And you know what? We'll do this one more. Just a fan. Feldman Mailbag. I missed that first hour. Kool-Aid, what up with these Pistons? What are they missing? I think that if I had to just kind of summarize it, and it'd be chemistry. You need your vets to be those vets, the stabilizing forces that we believe they would, namely Tobias Harris, your highest paid player on the team right now. Honestly, I want to see strategy-wise what JB Bickerstaff can bring to the table to kind of change things up just a little bit. 4 games in a row, you see the same thing. You got to tweak the strategy, but I do know he's a process guy. So I know it's just 4 games in. It's a gauntlet of a stretch. So what about you, brother?
Yeah, just I've been a little disappointed. I mean, not even a little, very disappointed with how the veterans have started the season, particularly Tobias Harris. But it's a long year. Hopefully he gets it together. And you kind of feel like he gave a couple of games away that you should have won.
And they need a backup point guard because they're not getting enough off from their bench play. Fontecchio has been bad so far through 4 games. I do expect him to get better, but like y'all said, he struggles at creating. So he either needs to run with the starters or you need to figure out some kind of plan in order to get him a playmaker that can help utilize his abilities more.
Yep, definitely. I agree with that so much. And just one positive on them, that backcourt looks good. Looks good. JB Bickerstaff knows exactly what he's doing with the Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey combination. You just want to see them be able to get the ultimate payoff by winning some of these games down the stretch. But it's been a tough, grueling start to the season, and it's not slowing down for them. So, you know what? Some positives.
You got to get some games, though.
Do better.
You can't let this spiral before it's too late. You know?
Yeah, like we said, we want to see them have some peaks at the beginning of the season where you can't have it. What up, though, brother? You got to say something.
Here you go.
What up, though, man?
Here you go. Jaden Ivey, yeah.
Jaden and Cade, they look good.
I mean, they look cohesive. But listen, like I said, 40 wins is my benchmark for a successful season this year. That's what I want out of this team.
So apprehensive. That's what I've been saying. 28, 30.
That's less than 500 basketball.
Yeah.
I'm asking for less than 500 basketball. You can't tell me winning 6 more games is improvement over last year. I won't accept it.
No, I
won't
agree.
Accept it.
I do agree with that.
I agree with that.
No.
So, 40 wins is what I said. That's the expectation. That's the mark they need to hit for this to be a successful season. Now, if it's 37, 36, we're in the range.
Reasonable man.
We're in the range.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, but
that's what I wanted to hear.
But 40 is to me the litmus point.
It's your gauntlet, and it's similar to what I was saying when they started last season. People were like, "Man, you thought they could win 35?" I said, "Go back and roll the tapes." I said, "They would win." I thought that they could win 28 games,
Yeah.
and I said, "But if all goes according to plan, I do believe that they can go 35 if they can exceed a little bit of expectation." And that's what I take away from there. By this time, from everything they've been doing since they first drafted their longest senior player, which is Isaiah Stewart, and then your franchise player in Cade and his running mate in Jaden Ivey, they just haven't taken any progressional steps. And in fact, it's just gone backwards. And so progressionally, they should be on target for winning 40 and being in the play-ins by this time since they took Isaiah Stewart. And that's where I understand the expectations should be there. And remember, we pondered it. You got a whole new regime. How much time do we give them to enact? Or is it where, from the fans' perspective, they've been sitting around waiting for some people, a lifetime of where you can cognitively accept and watch basketball to wait for the Pistons to be good.
It's a fact.
Yeah. Man, is that a show?
Yeah.
Might as well be.
Yeah, let's wrap it with Art Vandelay. We'll always have the shock.
Well, you know what?
Oh,
and I
my
got
God.
the Deanna Nolan stuff too. We're gonna definitely play that. Shout out to the Detroit Shot.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do come back. I gotta reach out to somebody too. I'm gonna see about getting a guest on who actually is in control of the current Shock name and Shock team.
Ooh.
Here in Detroit. There's a women's basketball league. It acts and operates similar to a minor league, almost like the G League. And they're positioning themselves to be able to be a development and a support league for not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general.
That's
and
what's
it
up.
has some support. We're going to get him in the building. He is an advocate and a fan of all Detroit sports and the Shot. And he just sent me some pictures of their jerseys, their logos, and a particular former Detroit Shot who might return to be the general manager of the team.
Ooh, okay.
So, I love the Detroit Shot. Shout out to Deanna Nolan giving us
big shout out to her.
So, hey, let's
She's
break
awesome.
this thing down, man. Shout out to our brother Broder, intern Chase, and that dude Justin. Hey, this show, man, it is what it is because of how the heart beats amongst this crew. So shout out to you guys, and also you, chat family. We can't and we don't do anything without your support. So go on ahead, smash that like button if you didn't get a chance to. But thank you, and we appreciate you guys for kicking off your day with the WUW Crew. Stay tapped in with everybody else. We got this elite, wonderful, stupendous, magnificent, great. I'm talking about better than the rest. If you X-ray their chest, there's some dogs in there.
Okay.
It is the most elite. You talk about in this media game, you compare this booth up against anybody else's, it's game over.
All right.
The Jared Goff. The Jared Goffs. I'm talking about the gospel of the media industry in the sound booth. We got Detroit's
My
number one
dog.
draft pick, KG, a.k.a. Black Hollywood.
From now on, that's how you drive. Hey, no, man, but shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all don't know and realize what the hell we got to do to keep this shit going and keep this afloat, man. So we appreciate everybody sticking through the technical difficulties, man. Love my team, man. We gonna keep working hard for y'all, and let's keep this shit rolling, man. Pistons, get a win, please, man, please.
Hey, let's go. Woodward Sports MVP in the city booth on a Tuesday. That's JB Smooth.
It's been a day, y'all. It's been a day.
My boy working hard over there, man.
Ermanni and Edwards, don't worry.
Yeah, Ermanni and Edwards will have everything fixed back to normal. But like I said, it's been a morning. Shout out to you guys for sticking with us with all the technical difficulties. Kool-Aid, talk to the Pistons. I'm tired of wasting my money betting on them and losing every single night. This can't happen like this.
You said talk to him for you. Hey, you know what? I think that they're going to get everything figured out, man. Shout out Stick wherever he went. I know he's handling business too. But shout out to him for stopping by the show. He told us yesterday he would give us the time. But the vet of the squad and the vet of the network, that is Flannel Sam. Great show today, brother.
Thank you. It was a great show. And a shout out to you, JB. I know that wasn't easy handling that. And KG, I know in the past weeks there have been some audio issues there.
Yep.
That is not fun being in those gauntlets, but you guys kept it together for us.
Oh, what's wrong with the show? We love y'all in the chat, man, but y'all got to chill out a little bit. We love y'all, though.
Hey, and it's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Thank you guys for kicking off the day. Very, very special shout out as well to our guy Matthew Broder once again. But thank you guys for kicking off the day with us. We appreciate you all greatly. It's been Wake Up Woodward. Go Lions, go Pistons, go Tigers, go Wings, go Michigan, everything.